Hey, why don't you just accept your OCD? That word acceptance, it really does get thrown around a lot and often in an unfair and unhelpful way when it comes to learning to deal with OCD and anxiety. Of course, if it was that easy to just accept it, to accept the doubt, the uncertainty, the fear, then you would have already done that. It would have been something that you would have figured out quite some time ago. And off then you would have gone into your life, with happiness, with peace, with contentment. No longer would OCD be this big, horrible thing still causing you problems. And, although that kind of that use of that word acceptance is well-meaning, people really are coming from a good place with it because ultimately, you do have to learn how to stop fighting the OCD, to stop fighting the intrusive thoughts. The problem is with the word acceptance is there's lots of different kind of shades of grey with acceptance. I think that the problem is that it's not just black and white. We kind of want it to be in a way. We kind of want to have a tool or a technique that allows us to kind of bring a certain level of something to the OCD and the anxiety so that it completely goes away, so that we feel completely better and we're able to start living our lives again. And actually, in my experience, getting over OCD isn't like this at all. There's plenty of grey zone. Ultimately, what it's really about is learning that, you can have uncertainty, you can have doubt, you can feel very uncomfortable, you can be aware of certain sensations, or you can have intrusive thoughts. But at the same time, you can also find contentment. You can also find peace. You don't have to get rid of the negative stuff altogether in order to start living your life. And if you're struggling with OCD and anxiety, I do now have a 12-week program to help you to break free. It's based upon, acceptance, tolerance, all of these things that I've been talking about, as well as my own personal experience of dealing with OCD and anxiety for many years. It includes videos, worksheets, meditations, and 12 weekly coaching sessions with me. If you're interested in applying for that, you can by heading over to my website at robertjamescoaching.com. There's a link in the show notes. And now on with the rest of the episode. I think sometimes that word acceptance, what it does is it creates pressure for us where we're thinking, okay, I have to really accept this anxiety. I'm going to try really hard, more than ever, to bring much more acceptance to it. But then, of course, what all you're really doing is you're just trying really hard to accept it in order for it to go away. And, inadvertently, you're kind of making it stick around even longer than it needs to. So really, when we talk about acceptance, the way that I like to think about it is that there's many different levels to acceptance. Over time, as you start allowing a bit more uncertainty, as you start allowing yourself to lean into discomfort, you begin to be able to kind of prove to yourself that you can tolerate that discomfort more, that you're stronger than the OCD, that actually, you're able to get on with your day, even though you're triggered. If you do get intrusive thoughts, you can still return back to the present moment and focus on values. You can do exposure activities, feel uncomfortable and still move on. All of these things really are about kind of a certain level of acceptance, but it's not black and white. There are many different levels to it. And as you start doing exposure activities or practicing acceptance commitment therapy or learning how to meditate and move into the body, feel the discomfort in the body, really what you're doing is you're exercising these kind of different levels of acceptance. A lot of the time it is like tolerating. But, as we learn to tolerate uncomfortable things, we're also exercising this kind of muscle of tolerance. And this is something that can really help us over time. I think ultimately the end goal is to bring much more acceptance to it. But it doesn't just start off with pure acceptance. If that was the case, and it was just black and white, then, once you've got it, that would be it. You could move on. And it's about kind of learning to lean in, experience a little bit of acceptance. Notice that when we do bring a bit more acceptance to things, the intensity of the emotions does tend to kind of go down a little bit. And then building up from there, learning about acceptance, exploring it, but realizing it is an ongoing journey. It's something that you need to develop over time. So many thanks, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed that one. Remember, if you are struggling, I do now have a 12-week program to help you to break free. If you're interested in applying for that, you can by heading over to my website, robertjamescoaching.com, and booking in there for a free discovery call. Many thanks, and I'll see you next time. This video is for education only. It's not therapy or medical advice. If you're struggling, please speak with a licensed mental health professional.